Okay, so welcome to Green Zone Talks with Vicky Westra, and that's me. And I'm really excited to be able to host this month's session. We started these Green Zone Talks recently, and it was really Green Zone for us is our greatest place of emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. And so these talks were really created to be able to just have conversations like we're having today with Krystine, with those who either have achieved a green zone life and can share with us the things that they've done to really create that for themselves, or like our guest today, Krystine, who's in the well-being field and can also share different modalities and different tools or different levels of understanding of how we can create our green zone life. So welcome, Krystine. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes. And I know I've known Krystine personally, so it's a double honor to have her on because I know how passionate she is about well-being. So this is Krystine Kuecha. And just to give you a little bit of background about Krystine, she's been involved in the spa and fitness industry for over 30 years. She combines her knowledge and experience in aesthetics, aromatherapy, holistic healing, nutrition, naturopathic health, physiology, and product chemistry, and customer service into a complete package. And she's currently the director of the Compass Therapeutics and Wellbeing. And she's also a South Florida native, and she now calls Tampa her home. So when I looked at Krystine, because since I've known her, I started looking at her credentials. Boy, Krystine, you've really kind of branched out in a lot of different areas. You've got a BA in biology and health science with a nutrition minor. You're a paramedical aesthetics license. You have a fitness and yoga instructor certification, a sports nutrition certification. You're a master aromatherapist, a Reiki and sound therapy certified, herbal studies and Ayurvedic wellness certified, and you're an educator and author. So that is a lot of credentials in your 30 years. So excited to have you. I've been to the Compass Spa myself, and I can attest that it's a calm and cozy environment. She has a great team of wellness practitioners that are committed to forming relationships with their clients. They're respectful, caring, and really encouraging their followers, their clients, to explore a variety of healthful practices. And sometimes you have to do that to find what your connection is, which one aligns with you, and really finding your connection to your true self. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I just wanted to let folks know a little bit about your background. So Krystine, if you could start off just by sharing, how did you become involved in this, in this industry with such a wellness focus?
I got involved when I was right out of high school, actually kind of at the end of high school. And the idea was I was just going to get my first license in the salon industry. And so I worked in a salon for a little while with the thought that, oh, this is a good kind of practice to have while I'm, deciding, college route and which way I was going to go in that. So the intent was initially just to kind of for a job. I pretty quickly realized that on the salon side, it's a little bit different, but that there was still a need for connection with people and, the psychology side of it from the standpoint of people come obviously to their hairdressers or their nail techs or their facialists, and they spill their guts on a pretty regular basis. And all the woes in their life and the stressors that are affecting them. So at a pretty young age, I realized that there was a lot more to this than just the foof and the fluff. And making people, feel and look pretty was nice, but there was an aspect of, healing and wellness on the inside. So I started teaching continuing education classes pretty early on. So in my 20s, I had the opportunity to do continuing education classes in the aesthetics field. And that really is what opened the big door for me. There was a company and a product line that I taught for, not only in the classroom, but also at trade shows and conventions and things like that. And witnessing the change in making people understand and understanding product knowledge and the importance of the well-being aspect of skincare opened up a lot of education and information for me as I researched that and became more proficient in my training to be able to share that information with other professionals. It became a pretty big door that made me understand there's a lot more to this side. So again, not just the pretty part, but the nutrition and making sure, if somebody wants to take care of their skin and their other beautification things, how does nutrition roll into that? How does taking care of your life, how does the rest of the lifestyle play a part?
Sure.
So here I am this many years later, and all the different shifts that I've seen in the wellness field, and what we like to refer to as kind of the awakening in the last few years has really come to a much larger surface. And there's so much information out there. There's so much well-being to be had.
Right.
A lot of people are, wanting to go down that path and not understanding which journey or which path to choose, which is also obviously a self choice, but sometimes with the direction of people that are caring and giving, they can make a little bit of a better choice. So
definitely. Well, that's an interesting connection you make with just the I guess the aesthetic part of it, the outwardly self-care, right? And the connection between, when we go get our hair done, or if we go get, I view getting my nails done as self-care. But when we do all these things, we are taking time, right, from the outside so that we look and feel good. And I think it's a great connection to what we do on the inside, and how does that the wellness that we focus on internally, not just externally, but really can help us all the way around, right? It's that inner glow that can then lead to, the outwardly glow of well-being. So that was a great connection there. And, I can see how those can connect, and that was a path. So for you personally, then what was your motivation to continue? Obviously sounds like you have a passion for it, but then, you go on to really expand your own knowledge about all the different modalities.
I'd say the largest single event in my life was losing my father at a very young age to congestive heart failure. So knowing that there were he had a genetic condition, but knowing that there were some lifestyle choices that played a part in his early passing, and witnessing, lots of other people, other family members and or friends of the family, friends of mine growing up, watching people not living their life to the fullest in a health, direction. So, which of course encompasses all of well-being. So well-being is not, there's a kind of a larger definition to the word well-being in that. So it's not just about, looking good, feeling good, and, okay, somebody may work out, but maybe that doesn't encompass itself into all the other aspects of their life. So seeing people that could have had, I don't want to say a better life, but just for lack of
quality life,
having a fuller life.
Yeah.
Being exposed to that at a fairly young age really cemented my my dedication to this. I grew up an athlete. I was always involved in competitive athletics. So I was already on a path myself personally to take pretty good care of myself, but I definitely saw other people around me not continuing that. So it's easy to do maybe when you're younger, but as you get involved in life and business, and maybe you have families, whatever, you tend to put yourself on the back burner because these other things take priority. And I realized that that was not a good place for people to be. So again, seeing people that I was close to passing at early ages from not doing these things that could have prolonged their life, and not just prolonged it, but prolonged it well. So that was probably the one single incident in my life that really cemented this path for me. After contemplating some other career changes along the way, it was just a perfect fit.
Well, that's wonderful. And that makes total sense, because normally it's, the things that affect us personally. I know for myself, and, getting involved and obviously starting NeuroShifts, it was a personal experience with Gabby, our daughter, and being on the autism spectrum. But, having a parent that, maybe their life is potentially cut shorter than it might have been. I'm a big believer in trusting the path, and trusting the paths for those we love, but certainly we can be empowered to make some changes that, can affect our life and can affect those around us. So that makes total sense of how that incident really impacted you. How about professionally? What would you say? Were there any professional motivations or inspirations?
There were definitely some mentors throughout my career. I would say the big thing professionally was having the response from the people that I was able to deal with, whether it was a coworker, staff members that I've had over the years, the different facilities that I've owned, or the client leaving and having, that sigh of relief that you finally kind of helped them with a bit of a breakthrough in their lives. And, maybe it was just something that was inspiring. Maybe it was actually the treatment that encompassed something for them personally and helped them, get over something. Maybe it was emotional, maybe it was physiological, which is a lot of what we deal with. Literally seeing the smiles on somebody's face when they leave, when they've had a treatment, in our facility, and you literally see this like release of, all that, stagnant energy coming out, and it's like, they float out, is really the thing. We commonly see people that are like, oh my gosh, that was the best, XYZ, whatever the treatment was I've ever had, and I've had treatments all over the world. So getting that positive reinforcement on a professional level, it just makes me, it makes me as a person feel good, but as a professional, it makes me realize, one, how much it's needed. And two, that I'm doing the right thing. We're on that course for a reason.
Right.
I'm a believer that, we're all put here for specific reasons. And, I've had 30 years of confirmation that this was the reason I was put here. And I get that every single day when someone responds to me. So that's a nice daily practice for me.
Definitely. It's nice to feel like you're aligned with your path, with what you were here to do. So, absolutely. And with that, I would ask the type of client that you work with. Is there, obviously wellness is for everyone, but who would you typically work with? Is there, an age where you think people are more focused on well-being?
Actually, no, I don't think there's a specific age. Wellness starts long before we are even in the womb. If you want to subscribe to the thought process of anything pre-life, even if someone doesn't subscribe to that for, whatever personal reasons they have, from the moment you are an entity, it starts. You have not only the choices that you make once you become a certain age and you can, make decisions for yourself, but even as a child, if you watch a young child, just beyond infancy, if you watch their behaviors and you watch their mannerisms, that is all aspects of energy flow and connection that can be cultivated in such a way. You have on a positive level or on the reverse side, with parenting that isn't been cultivated appropriately, you end up with a child that has, some struggles when they get a little bit older, as opposed to somebody that has an amazing support network. So, we see people from all different walks of life, from all different, backgrounds, from everything from extremely stressful jobs, where they come in and they just really need some release, to, somebody that has what would be on the outside considered a pretty cushy life. And they have different levels of anxiety and stress and things like this that, again, can manifest in a physiological way. And that's what we tend to see and deal with on a regular basis. So you're never too young to start, and you're never too old to start. So, I just got off the phone with a lady a couple hours ago who, her initial thing was, well, I'm 87. What am I going to do now? And it's never too late. You can start taking care of yourself from this moment in this time right now, moving forward. Don't worry about the past. We're not going to deal with looking backwards. Just look at today and look forward. And, that's one of the things that we try and encourage people to do.
Yeah, that's definitely one of our big lessons that we teach as well is, trying to be in the present moment, and sometimes suffering is, living in the past, especially when it's related to all your past, challenges and things that happen as a child. A lot of times we store all that in our bodies as well, and then it manifests in different forms, it affects our wellness. So certainly the mind body connection is significant. So I know that even as, we have mental thought processes that maybe don't serve us over a period of time, those can really manifest in our body as well. So, big believer in that, mind, body, spirit connection. So
it is, and we all have it. There's not a single entity that doesn't have that. If you're alive today and roaming this planet,
definitely
have mind, body, spirit. So in that connection and being able to have that balance is crucial to your overall well-being.
Totally. So what would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you've had along your journey?
I'd say on a reoccurring basis, the biggest challenge is educating people on understanding the importance of it, number one, and understanding the difference. You can go and have a treatment similar to what we do, maybe on the surface, done someplace that does not have the appropriate intent, and the results are going to be drastically different than receiving a treatment, with a practitioner and or a facility that has the intention behind it, has the appropriate training behind them. All of those things are highly important. So we are extremely cognizant of being sure that we educate people in understanding the terminology. On a regular basis, I'll have people that'll call up and they'll say, hey, I need, XYZ. And my question to them is, well, why do you think that's what you need? Right. And typically their answer is very off, center. They say it because that's what they see in the media, or that's what they see on a flyer or a postcard, or, on social media, or whatever the case may be. So they think that that's the treatment that they need or want, but they're really not understanding that the terminology they're using is inappropriate or incorrect for their condition or their, whatever their goals are. Case in point, one of the biggest things that I get is people will say, oh yeah, I need a deep tissue massage because I work out. That's highly inaccurate in that, just because you may be a little bit sore from, lifting weights or exercising a muscle that maybe you hadn't exercised very well previously, deep tissue work may not be the appropriate treatment because you may be dealing with a muscle that's already compacted. And then pressing on it and compacting it more is actually going to exacerbate the situation. So getting release is more the proper term. So you want to release the tension in that muscle area, in that zone. We're not here to create additional agony in the muscle area. We want to release that tension. So that's just one really simple example that I get very regularly. I mean, at least 3 or 4 times a week, we'll get somebody that will say that. And I'm like, yeah. My
Yeah.
job is partially to educate them, make sure that they understand, understand what you're asking for, so that when you ask again down the road, maybe it's not us that you're calling, maybe you're calling someplace else, for whatever reason, and understand what you're asking for and understand the terminology. So again,
Yeah.
it's misinformation that's being, thrown about for advertising purposes usually, and that's fine, but it's counterproductive when you don't understand what you need, much less what you're asking for, that's highly inappropriate for your circumstance.
Definitely. And what I take away from that too is, obviously we have to be educated on what to ask, so doing our research beforehand, but working with someone too who's going to ask us the right questions, because, oftentimes there's just so much information online.
Yeah.
And sometimes the information is even conflicting, so I think having a practitioner that, kind of digs a little bit below the surface and can find out maybe what are some of the things that are really happening, and I equate that to, again, the work that we do is, on the surface, especially with a neurodiverse community, may not feel good about who they are. And if you look online, you'll find a lot of things that point to, kind of the challenges related to autism or neurodiversity. And, part of the process is really having an understanding of why people feel that way, and sometimes it's, again, incidences in their life that have caused them to believe that, or, something like you said that they've read. So definitely, as the listening or the viewing audience is out there, as you go, if you're looking for more well-being, is, again, connect with whether it's a company or a therapeutic business like Krystine's that, can really work with you and understand what it is exactly that you need, so that you can get the right approach for what you're looking for.
Yeah, because every day there's a new challenge to navigate, and what part of what we do is just assisting people in navigating that. You're on your own course, you're on your own journey, and I'm not here to modify that journey, but if you can along that way, pick some fruit from either side of the road that's going to be beneficial, as opposed to picking fruit that's not. That's what I kind of consider what we do is, we're the nice juicy fresh fruit, as opposed to the fruit that maybe fell on the ground, and it still will sustain you to some degree because it's fuel. But why not have the fruit that's going to be most appropriate for your journey and helping you along the path?
Yep, alignment is key.
Yeah.
So
Very much.
well, as you've done this work, what would you, I guess, how would you reflect on your maybe your biggest achievements, or the things that you about?
I'd say the biggest thing is, getting, again, that response from people that we work with. There's been a lot of personal and professional achievements. This is my 5th establishment that I've owned. So, that's something that I'm very proud of on my own. It's been a lot of work. The last couple of years, obviously, has been a struggle for a lot of businesses. Ours is definitely one of them. Having coworkers that I've worked with over the years, and having developed a relationship with them that continues even past the point when I'm no longer working with them directly. I feel like personally that's a huge testament to what I've done and what I've represented as a professional. I try to align myself with people that are, have the highest level of integrity. I try to conduct myself in such a way that it's the highest level of integrity. So I feel like those relationships have continued over the years because of that, because of me continuing to represent in a very truthful manner what I do, and I do it in my own personal life. I mean, what you see is what you get, I don't just sit in front of people and talk, and then turn around and do something else, which, you do see a lot. You see a lot of people kind of talking out on one side and then behaving another way. I very much live exactly what I tell people to do. If I'm telling somebody that they need to eat better and that they need to make some appropriate changes in their lifestyle, you know me personally, you've seen, I
Sure.
mean, I do the things that I talk about. I mean, I eat healthy. I'm not perfect by any means, but, I eat healthy, I exercise, I try to maintain, you know, a good level of stress, because some stress is good and we need it,
Yeah.
but not letting that control my life. I, try not to dwell on things that are going to be not advantageous to my life. So those are probably, I'd say, as far as an achievement, and that doesn't sound like a concrete achievement, but it really is on a day-to-day basis. To be able to walk and walk is an achievement. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
totally.
big deal. I
Yeah.
deal with people on a regular basis. I see people around me every day that, they say one thing, but they live another. And I don't think that that's, successful. So,
Yeah. 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 In the long term, I think you're a walking example, especially to people who know you, and when they see you achieving well-being through the things that you're preaching, it validates, your work. I mean, you are your work, right? And
yeah,
so I think that's wonderful. And I also think that that speaks to, truly caring about people. When you work with someone and, you move on or they move on for a certain reason and you're still in touch with them, that's just that's a caring about the individual, not necessarily what they can do for you in the moment or in the business, which is a reflection when you're in this industry. I think that's a huge component in success, is really caring about other people's well-being, you know, and holding them in the highest levels of well-being. Because I think, energetically as teachers and, healers, because we're helping people heal, whether that's, from the inside or emotional, but that has so much to do with it. So
very much so.
I think that's actually a great achievement. So awesome. Well, Krystine, you have a lot of different modalities that you offer. So, what led you to explore different modalities? Is it for yourself, or was it to learn for others? What would you say is the primary reason for that?
I'd say most of the modalities were either things that I was introduced to by another professional, for myself personally. So I'm, always trying to expand and grow and learn. And because I'm in this field, anything that I experience would be potentially something that we would bring into, our modalities. So as I, learn and grow as a person and as a professional, there's as there's every time you turn around, there's some new fancy fangled something or other, so I tend to check them out to at least be able to see what the deal is. Unfortunately, there's a lot of hype, lots and lots of hype. So, I do my homework and I do my research, and, I'll try different things out myself personally. And, not that I'm the only condition of somebody on the planet that needs, maybe, wellness, but I kind of feel like because there's not a lot of internal struggles. If I find a modality that is beneficial, then I feel like that can be wrapped around and I can encompass that into what we do. Maybe we'll make it something more signature, change it around a little bit, but offering a variety of modalities there's no one path, there's no one way to get the results. So offering a lot of different things is beneficial, because what resonates with one person may not resonate with another, and everyone's energy is different even on a day-to-day basis. So what works for one person a week ago may need to be modified this week. So having those different modalities and those different tools under our belt and available to us is, huge to be able to get some results and get resolved for people on a lot of different ways, whether it's physiologically speaking or whether it's emotional, whatever the case may be. So, and in fact, just as simple as making somebody, again, happy and smile. We do some fun little classes here that, some of which we actually just did a yoga class where we did a DIY and you got to paint your own little mandala. And, is that a big, revelation in people's lives? No, but everyone enjoyed it and they were having fun and they were laughing. So it was just a moment where there was just a nice time shared in a room with some people and you were laughing and joking. And that was, an aspect of resolve for some people. Maybe they, were, feeling a little aggravated, and then they came in, they got a little chuckle and got a big smile, so it makes us feel good to be able to provide that for people.
Sure. That's what we call the green zone, by the way.
Yes, exactly.
You're experiencing just happiness and joy and laughter. Those are all emotions that we can all tap into, and
Yeah.
it goes such a long way in well-being. So, I guess on that line, with so many different things out there, what recommendation would you give to viewers who are watching today? Like, it could be confusing. Like, where do I start? And there are a lot of different things that claim, different results that, sound really great, but how is it that someone can start the path and start looking for, hey, what modality might be right for me?
It is a bit of a trial and error process, especially, again, like you said, in this day and age, where it's real easy to tap into what one person is claiming. I'd say the biggest thing is just aligning yourself with a credible professional. If you're looking for professional treatments, of any sort. I mean, even the most basic treatment needs to be done by a credible professional. And aligning yourself with, a group or an organization, talking with friends that have had some, treatments that have actually helped them, rather than just relying on the hype, and the social media stuff. The biggest thing really is trying a few different things, reaching out to the different modalities, reaching out to different professionals, and seeing what works, seeing what aligns with you. And again, there's no age to start, start as young as you want. I mean, as simple as, going and taking a really basic yoga class as an introduction. A lot of people have a misconception that something like yoga is for people that are already flexible. And that's completely false. Yoga is a very individual, practice. And rather than comparing yourself to someone else that's in the room that maybe can tie themselves in a pretzel, and maybe you can barely bend over at 90 degrees from the waist, it's not, you're still working just as hard as the person who's tying themselves into that.
Right.
So in understanding that difference and making sure that that instructor that you're standing with in the classroom is, compassionate to that, and is understanding, rather than, come on, push, this is, you can do this, because it's not about motivation for a lot of people. It's about having the opportunity to learn and having the opportunity to grow.
Right.
So having a credible professional, having people that are backing you, and educating you on the information is key. I mean, by far. So, is there a starting point? No, there's no one thing and one modality. It's trying a lot of different things and seeing what works for you.
Right. Now, with that though, is there one modality that you think, hey, this one generally can help everyone? Like you mentioned yoga, obviously, yoga is, I mean, I've had a yoga practice now for several years, and it's made a significant difference. And I started later in life. It wasn't like I did yoga when I was in my 20s, but is there something like that you would?
Yeah, yoga is definitely high on that list. If I would to say, three key things, some sort of hands-on therapeutic touch work is highly beneficial for, pretty much every body. There's really no circumstance where someone can't benefit from that. We've had people even come in that, don't like to be touched, quote unquote, and they'll leave and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, and I mean, they're still not big advocates of having other people touching them, but they see the benefit and it made them feel better. So human touch in this day and age is highly necessary and highly needed.
Right.
Especially with what people are going through right now and all the emotional trauma and, just, the whirlwind that we've all been through, in the last 15 years, I mean, there's been a lot of changes that, the world has seen. So having connection and having human touch is huge. And meditation, I would say, is really high on that list as well. Getting to the understanding that you need some time for yourself. If you don't have or give yourself that recovery and recuperation time every day, you're just piling more on. Those layers just keep piling on and on and on and on. And then when you really get to the breaking point, you now have to undo all those layers to get back to the base level. So rather than letting those layers build up, it's much more sensible to not let them build up and to just kind of keep them resurfaced on a regular basis. So if you have that opportunity before things build up, so meditation is huge. It is part of what we do, even when we're hands-on on a therapeutic session with someone. There's always an aspect of meditation that's rolled into it. So I'd say those are probably high on the top three. I am a huge advocate, obviously, as an aromatherapist. I'm a huge advocate of utilizing aromatherapy. It's not just for scent and smell. I mean, there's a biological benefit to inhaling the oils and applying them topically to your skin. In fact, we have, one of our classes that we're providing for you guys for NeuroShifts coming up in October on aromatherapy. So, understanding, and understanding the difference and making sure that you're using quality products. So again, being educated and understanding the difference is huge. I'm a big advocate in sound healing. So, and that's another class that we're going to be doing for you guys. So see my little bowls over here.
Definitely.
So, and we use that on a regular basis with people as well. And I've been doing that for many, many years. It's something that helps to reset the imbalances in the body. So those are just kind of, maybe I'd say top five. But again, there's a huge list out there. But those are definitely ones that are fairly easy to explore. So I'd say check those out. And again, just making sure that you're checking them out for the facts and not following them.
Yes, I think that's very helpful. We're also, NeuroShifts is a big proponent and teaches meditation and mindfulness, which often go together. Just being mindful, being present. That you could do that just throughout your day without even taking time. People say, "Well, I don't have time to meditate," and I think if we're that busy where we can't take 15 minutes for just our mental and emotional health, then definitely something's wrong, because that 15 minutes can, change your life. It can help you recharge. It can help you reconnect, and often we spend a lot of time kind of disconnected, right? We're on autopilot from just who we really are. Yeah. And so those modalities, I can't stress enough how important they are. And if you currently don't have a practice, I would encourage you, definitely check it out. Meditation, a yoga practice, anything that's going to help your, kind of mind. Meditation's actually to kind of help you slow your thoughts down. A lot of people think, well, I just can't stop thinking. Well, really, it's just being mindful that you can even notice that your thoughts are passing in. There's a certain level of mindfulness in that.
And letting them flow in. That's the thing. You brought up a great point. People will say, and it's just like, well, I can't make my mind stop. And I'm like, well, that's not the goal of meditation. If your mind stops, you would have a different goal, and that would be, maybe you want to come back to life. So, that's a huge thing. And once you actually become a little bit more practiced in it, the meditation doesn't even have to be the, sitting in the lotus position, it's different for everybody. Taking a walk on the beach, it can be an active meditation. I'll meditate sometimes, if I get caught by a train that's passing in front of me, and you just have those, it's just a minute, 2 minutes. It makes the world a difference. Again, in reconnecting with yourself, instead of staring at your phone all the time, at the stoplight, maybe, look outside, look out your window, and, maybe there's a bird chirping, and you can just have that, get lost in the moment.
Definitely.
And as children, they do it all the time, the daydreaming thing. It's meditation. That's an aspect of meditation. So allowing that for yourself and accepting that as a, normal practice, it doesn't always have to be that dedicating, 30 minutes of your time to sit in a quiet room and have, a meditation mantra. It can be much more simple than that, especially in the beginning stages. So, just explore what works for you. Listening to your favorite song and just finding yourself really lost in the words is a type of meditation. So, acknowledging all the different varieties of that, going for a bike ride, even, whatever it may be, pet your cat, whatever, so, just get lost in the moment. And that again is a type of meditation. So
Definitely.
Baby steps, take it small. And then
Definitely. That's what we share. We say, hey, start small. A lot of times people think you have to be hours on end doing something for well-being, and really a well-being practice is, something that minutes during the day you can capture, or 15 minutes in the morning or before you go to bed at night. I mean, there's just some simple things that we can do to really take care of our own well-being. So very true. Well, what would you say is, what makes Compass Therapeutic so different from other well-being businesses that are out there? How do you set yourself apart?
Well, as you pointed out earlier in your intro, I mean, we are a small facility, so we call ourselves a cozy environment. That's our thing. We're not one of these big facilities where you come in and you're cattle called into a waiting room where you wear a robe and you're sitting in a room with a bunch of other people that you've never seen in your entire life. How relaxing really is that? I mean, I don't care how cushy the robe is. Let's face it, it's not really relaxing. So we're different because we're small. It's very, very individualized attention because of our environment being so one-on-one. It enables us to really pay attention from the moment somebody walks in to the moment that they exit. And we have a very extensive evaluation process. This is something that I've developed over my entire career. I found in getting treatments myself, you walk into an establishment and they don't even say the first word to you besides, hello, what's your name? What are you here for? And then next thing you know, somebody's got hands on and you're like, you didn't even know what I have going on. Like
Right.
How could you possibly appropriate the service that you're doing when you don't even know where I stand? So our evaluation process is very thorough. We do, individual consultations with every appointment. So every time somebody arrives, it's, hey, what's going on today? Where do you stand today? What can we work on? I'm not worried about what we did the last time. That's going to carry over possibly, but where do you stand today, and how can we appropriate your treatment? So very customized. That's another word that really is kind of the best term to be used for what we do.
Right.
And we have a lot of different modalities and different formulas. And our idea is to address your ever-changing needs, because they didn't. From moment to moment, day to day, those needs change. Yeah. And our idea is, philosophy is to restore your body to a natural balance, whatever that may be. That is our ultimate goal. So, sometimes it takes a little while, but sometimes we can get there in 90 minutes.
Yeah. Pretty quick.
So that's our biggest signature is, the individualization of our treatments.
Okay.
And the attention.
Wonderful.
So
good deal. Well, you know what? I'm gonna kind of I guess ask you a last question, and then get folks ready if they have any questions. We have, let's see, I think a couple of chats here. Let me see if I can. Well, that was from us, so back and forth. So if you have a question, get them ready. Type them into the chat while I ask Krystine this last question, and we kind of wrap up our session. So if there's anything that you want to know based on our discussion today, we'd be glad to answer, right, Krystine?
Yeah, I'll do my best.
So what would you say is next for you? What's on the horizon for you personally or for your business?
So we recently launched a new initiative, what we're calling our Realign Immersion Program. So we're really excited about, introducing that to people. And think of it like a retreat, but it's an in-house retreat. Certainly, somebody comes from out of the area, that's fine too. But it's a 5-day immersion. So again, very customized. So it depends on what somebody's goals are. If somebody's goals may be, de-stressing, reconnecting, maybe it's a fitness related goal, maybe it's a nutrition related goal. So the program will be 100% customized to what they have in mind and what their goals are. Come for services and treatments anywhere between 3 and 4 hours a day. Our program includes 2 healthy meals as part of the program. So even if you're not here for the nutrition, you're going to get good nutrition, because that of course aligns with wellness and well-being. You can't be fully well if you're not properly nutritioned. So on a physiological way or emotional. So that's highly important on our list. We also are hopefully, we don't have any kind of data on this, but part of that immersion program on a larger scale is we're planning a retreat. So it'll be our Realign Wellness Week, and it's going to be in Denali, Alaska. So we're super excited about that. I unfortunately don't have any details on it yet. It'll be sometime, we're thinking August of next year. So we're literally in the planning stages now, and working with the Denali Education Center. So that will be really a super fun retreat. So hopefully, whoever's listening, if you're interested, shoot us a message and we'll definitely keep you in the loop. And it's same deal. It's going to be an immersion program. It's going to be where you have everything. Now that's an on-site facility, so you actually stay there. And they have like wilderness aspects of what they do. So it'll be a kind of a combination between what the Denali Education Center offers currently and what we're bringing to the table. So that kind of wellness umbrella is expanding. So beyond something that we currently offer, I'd love to be able to offer some programs like that around here, maybe one day. So that's kind of on the long-term horizon for us, but we're really excited to launch that. So hopefully we have planning very soon.
That sounds magnificent.
Being
in a beautiful
I'm just excited to go for myself.
Being in a beautiful place and focusing on yourself and well-being. That sounds wonderful.
Great. And the Realign program is like the kickstart. If somebody is not sure really where to begin, where to start, it's a really good thing to consider, because immersing, again, you immerse yourself completely for 5 solid days. It's a good way to get the new habits forming, and really engulf yourself in the environment. So super excited.
Awesome. So share with our viewers how they would get in contact with you.
So our website lists all of our modalities, the compasstherapeutics.com. We do not do online booking. Again, in the custom nature of what we do, online booking does not suit the custom nature of what we do. So we have that as a question all the time, and it's just something that's not appropriate for what we do. So we really encourage people to reach out to us personally. So call. Our phone number's on the website, 813-402-2089. And most of the time you'll get myself or you'll get one of my assistants answer the phone, and we will speak with you as long as we need to make sure that we direct you in the right place and set you up with the modality that's most beneficial for you. So
yeah, that's wonderful. Well, good deal. And I'm excited because we are doing a class through NeuroShifts on September 12th, Intro to Aromatherapy. And we're going to be communicating that. We'll be offering, Krystine will be offering a promo price to this group for attending.
Make sure that you know your contact information, and we'll have a special that we'll be following up with you guys before that. So super fun. Learn about all our fun little oils. It's our Magic of Aromatherapy is the class, and it's a nice intro to if somebody's looking to explore that route for themselves.
Absolutely. And we're also going to do, we're planning October 3rd to do an intro to sound therapy as well. So, our goal is to be able to offer a lot of different modalities. A lot of times we're not familiar with these modalities, but it gives us an opportunity to get a little bit educated on what is this modality, what does it do, and kind of check it out to see if it's something that is aligned for us. So we're going to do, again, a lot more education in this area, but thank you. I'm excited to have connected with you so many years ago and continued our journey together towards, helping to spread more well-being in this world, especially today. We didn't even talk about, literally the last couple of years, mental health has really taken a dive. It's just really declined with just everything people are experiencing. So the well-being is really at the forefront of, and I think that's great that it calls us back to really taking care of ourselves, our mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. So it's been a pleasure having you on, and I'm going to open it up. I haven't seen any questions. Let me check the Q&A. But anybody have, we've got a couple of questions. So Miss Raina says, I love the fact that Chris talked about becoming educated for healing. How do we know when we find someone who knows their stuff versus who talks a good game?
That's actually, there's no one easy answer for that. I would tell people the biggest thing is rely heavily on your intuition. We all kind of have it sitting in our gut. And when something doesn't feel right, when someone's making a lot of very, very grand promises of things that they can do for you, you may want to just take a step back and reevaluate if this is the appropriate person to bring into your life for your healing and wellness journey. And if you don't think that you have that kind of good built-in intuition, then again, relying on some resources of people that you do trust to be able to help steer you in that right direction. I'm more than welcome. I'm more than welcome any questions to me directly. So even if you're not going to work with me, maybe you're out of the area and it's not appropriate, or for whatever reason, I'm here to answer any questions. So if somebody's telling you a whole bunch of stuff and you maybe just want to run it by, a professional to kind of get a second opinion, so to speak, then, that's available for you. Just give me a call. I'll be happy to talk with somebody on the phone. It's no charge, obviously, it's just a discussion. So that's probably the biggest thing. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge if you don't do your homework and do your due diligence. Then you probably are going to be going down a path of a lot of disappointment. And I've seen that happen quite a bit, where people, I've had such and such done, it didn't work for me. And, well, my question would be, well, I'd like to figure out what did they do.
Definitely.
And there's going to be the answer of why it didn't work, because the appropriation of the treatment itself probably wasn't for that person. It could have been a wonderful treatment. It could have been something that maybe worked for somebody else, but it's not going to work for them. So that would be the biggest solution to that.
I think referrals, again, getting somebody who can really, who's experienced the benefit. I equate it to, when we're looking for, professional people to work with, that's the best referral, getting a referral from someone that we know and trust. Yeah. And so certainly that makes, I think, a very big impact, that we're talking to people who have used them. And even if we don't know anyone, to ask ask the practitioner for referrals of people that they work with and can give you, some testimonies.
Absolutely. And a credible professional will give you that. And again, if you're resonating on a high level of integrity, they have no problem, giving that information out. If they're hesitant to do that, then that would be a red flag, to be like,
totally. Yeah.
Why would you be so afraid to tell me people that you've worked with? Now, there's obviously a privacy factor that comes into play. You can't just hand out people's, phone numbers and say, yeah, call so-and-so, they'll refer you. You have to go through the appropriate, channels to reach out to your clientele and say, hey, would you mind if, I gave your phone number to so-and-so? This is potentially a new client of ours and they'd like a referral. They'd like to see if you're happy with our services, that type of thing. So, the reviews on, social media and Google, that's like a big deal.
Be a little cautious.
And it's a 5-star, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, what does that mean? What does that even mean? And we all know, if you do your homework on that, you see that there, 80% of those are false.
Yeah.
So, they're either, they've done them themselves or they've hired a company. There's plenty of companies out there now that you pay hundreds of dollars a month and they'll get you 5-star reviews. And these are people that you've never even seen. They're not even real clients. So, I'd say be a little bit, cautious on that level.
Yeah, definitely. Be smart. And I like the intuition piece, because I think all of us can tap into that.
We all have it.
Really check in with yourself and say, how do I feel about this? Often if you ask, you'll get the answer. So And Julie wanted me to remind folks that are here today that Krystine's session will be up on Eventbrite soon. So please follow us on Eventbrite. Stay informed about all of our upcoming sessions. And also for those that registered for tonight, we will be sending out a copy of tonight's presentation. I say tonight, but some folks may be joining from other areas of the country. Yeah. We've had quite a bit of that. So
maybe early.
That's right. I'm not sure what time zone. So night in Eastern Standard Time. So, but thank you so much, Krystine. It's been such an informative, session with you. And I think you've given our viewers so much great information to think about. And I encourage you to, again, to take some of these things to heart, check in with yourself and see, if you haven't started on your path to well-being, it's a great time to really focus on that, because everything in our life really revolves around who we are, and what we bring in. And us lit up, us in the green zone can really shift everything around us. So we have a lot
connecting with those helpful practices, and again, finding that avenue for yourself. So yeah, we're so proud and so happy to be, affiliated with you guys. The green zone life, it's something that we're adopting into our own language. So, it's a be in the green. It's great.
In the green. Well, thanks again. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you all for being here with us. And again, we'll be sending this out. So if you miss any portion of it, you'll be able to check it out again. So have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.